One of them is the unemployment situation in Nigeria, as Senator Ike Ekweremadu drew the attention of the Senate once again to the growing rate of youth unemployment, which needs emergency approach. In view of this, the Senate also advised the federal government to create a sustainable unemployment fund, resuscitate moribund industries, and establish new ones.
To urge the federal government, through the Minister of National Planning, to put up a mechanism and program that will provide employment for our teeming unemployed graduates in all tiers of government.
That one of the major achievements of our government was the effort of President Muhammadu Buhari in making sure that the iron and steel complex is back into business. It was abandoned by previous administration.
I think the theater of action for solving the problem of unemployment in Nigeria is actually resident in the states. When it comes to employment, they tell you they can't take anybody above 25. And most of them had been looking for a job for the last 6 years.
A sustainable unemployment fund for the payment of living stipends to unemployed Nigerians and to such persons secure any kind of employment. Those in favor of prayer 4 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The legislators continued on the economy as they considered the bill that seeks to repeal the Federal Road Maintenance Agency Act of 2002 to establish the Federal Road Authority that will provide for ownership, regulation, management and development of federal roads, mainly to bring the private sector into funding of roads. The bill, sponsored by Senator Gershon Bassey, has been passed through second reading.
We have to immediately ensure that the 5% user pump price of petrol and diesel accruing to road maintenance agencies from PPPRA is remitted for that purpose.
Less than 5% of what we need is what we budget for roads. And why? Because the money is not even there.
The model that has been applied now, which is working in most of these countries, is that of concessioning roads to private sector.
Industrialization cannot happen without adequate road network.
Two other bills were also passed through second reading. These include the Federal University of Agriculture and Technology Oke-Ogun Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari, and the bill that seeks to provide for constituency projects in annual budget of the Federation, sponsored by Senator Stella Odua.
Talents remain underutilized if not supported with education and innovation. So there's a need to strengthen the education and innovation of the people of this area.
The Constituency Development Fund has been institutionalized in Kenya, Uganda, India, and Tanzania.
The Senate resolved to investigate alleged breach of Nigerian laws by foreign vessels in coastal shipping of petroleum products in Nigeria, as moved in a motion by Senator Olalekon Mustafa. Well, the Senate has received the statutory budget of the Federal Capital Territory Administration for the 2020 fiscal year. The budget will be considered at a later date by the Senate Committee on FCT. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTN News.
In the meantime, the Deputy President of the Senate, Ovi Omoagege, has appealed to Nigerians to consider the experiences of victims of sexual harassment and support the legislature in enacting laws that will stem the scourge. The Deputy President of the Senate was at a policy dialogue in Abuja where he reiterated the resolve of the 9th Senate to enact laws that are beneficial to the generality of the people. Senator Omoagege, who is the sponsor of the bill, currently before the Senate, explained that the unanimous support the bill enjoys by the Senate is a clear indication that Nigerians do not support acts that are dehumanizing and disparage the integrity of the nation.
Exploit the special student-educator relationship for repulsive personal satisfaction. As a father myself, I am confident that I speak for an overwhelming majority of our citizens that sexual predators who operate on our campuses of tertiary education do not represent who we are as a people. We have a duty to stop them.
That's all. You're watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a break now. The news continues shortly.
Your information dey important, just like your identity. Now the only way we fit take hala you. Make you go browse easy.gotvafrica.com. Sign in with your IUC number and mobile number and scroll down to personal details and address. Then check well to see say everything bam. You fit change the one wey not correct. To finish everything, just click the save button and it don't finish.
Thank you. I make sure say my phone number dey correct. That's now why GoTV fit call me make I come collect my own awoof.
Angel, time for my phone in that way because now my correct phone number dey for book.
GoTV, live it, love it.
Now look me again, no. Make you go do your own.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Thanks for staying tuned. Sequel to the presidential request to the National Assembly for the approval of the 2016-2019 External Borrowing Plan, the House of Representatives Committee on AIDS, Loans and Debt Management invited relevant ministries for an overview on the issue. Chairman of the committee, Ahmed Safana, said Parliament is committed to support government on infrastructure development drive. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, that's of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, and the Minister of State Transport, Gbemisola Saraki, appeared before the committee.
To provide all of these needs. Coincidentally, in spite of these challenges, this government has committed under the leadership of President Buhari to addressing frontally as much of the infrastructure needs as we can accommodate.
This includes power transmission project for $200 million. It also includes the Nigerian Television Authority digitization project, $500 million. This is from China Exim.
The issue is, most of the time, also with roads, it's also not just about economics, it's also political. It's maybe opening up the entire country for people to have access to roads, whatever form of transportation.
The committee will submit its recommendations to the House after the meeting. The ECOWAS Community Court of Justice has dismissed a case of violation of human rights instituted against Nigeria State by Nnamdi Kanu, leader of proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Justice Dupe Atoki delivered the judgment in Abuja. Austin Anyebe reports.
The leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, instituted a case against Nigerian state for gross violation of his fundamental human rights before ECOWAS Court of Justice in March 2016.
Kanu had sought a declaration from the ECOWAS Court of Justice that the killing of his supporters and torture were crimes against humanity and sought for compensation of $800 million. The plaintiff also listed issues of unlawful arrest, detention, torture, confiscation of his belongings as infringement on his rights. The defendant, being the Nigeria state, had denied all the allegations, saying that IPOB is an entity unknown to law, but had been using a radio means of communication to wage war against Nigeria state. The defense told the court that there was no killing of its members as alleged and urged the court to dismiss the suit. In a judgment delivered by Justice Dupe Atoki, the court held that the plaintiff has no legal right to institute a case on behalf of IPOB. The court further held that the Nigeria state has not infringed on the plaintiff's rights as claimed, as the claims were not proved. While the defense counsel declined to speak to NTA, counsel to the plaintiff reacted to the judgment.
We hoped to come and receive a favorable judgment. However, the court has decided in one way or the other as the law applies, and we will take it from there.
From the ECOWAS Court of Justice, Abuja, Capital of Nigeria, Austin Anyebe, NT News.
The reported new editorial policy of the Punch newspapers to address President Muhammadu Buhari as Major General in his official title and refer to his government as a regime instead of administration comes to us as totally curious and utterly incredible. The paper claimed that it is changing President Buhari's official title to General because of his government's alleged disregard for the rule of law. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu said there is nothing wrong with expressing contrary opinions to this government, nor being in opposition to the President. This is the right of every Nigerian. However, calling for the armed overthrow of the democratically elected administration is a different matter entirely. This Punch has in no way done. It is not within the power or right of a newspaper to unilaterally and whimsically change the formal official title or the designation of the country's president as it pleases. It is unprecedented and absurd in our recent political history. It is obvious that Punch newspapers are playing partisan opposition politics, which has nothing to do with journalism. The Constitution of Nigeria recognizes the president as the formal official title of the occupant of that office. Can the Punch newspapers in their hubris address the president as prime minister as it pleases? The Punch newspaper should separate journalism from partisan politics. That is what it is embarking upon. What it is embarking upon is purely political, and it is designed to play to the gallery and cause confusion. The Buhari Media Organization has cautioned against continual misinformation of the public, especially on matters that have been clarified and lead to rest. The group made the observation while commenting on the seemingly unceasing controversy on the nation's debt. The group said the claim by Dr. Obadiah Milafia, a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, that the country's total debt was $7 billion in 2015, which according to him has now increased to $84 billion, is fallacious and unfounded. In a statement signed by its chairman, Niyi Akinsiju, and secretary, Cassidy Madueke, the group said it is becoming obvious that there is a band of ordinarily distinguished Nigerians who are determined to manipulate and mutilate issues in the public space, and it cuts across all segments. And next is business news.
The Nigeria Stock Exchange has forecast an inflow of 200 billion naira capital into the insurance sector post-recapitalization. The Chief Executive Officer of the NSE, Oscar Onyema, says there will be a 400% increase in the minimum capital required for life insurance companies, 333% for non-life insurance companies, 360% for composite insurance companies, and 200% for reinsurance companies. The Association of Nigeria Electricity Distributors says the collection of revenue from users of electricity across the country by power distribution companies has increased to 466 billion naira. The association says these coals had raised electricity revenue collection by 43 billion naira in the last 1 year. Next is a summary of how other commodities are faring. Olainka Uju for Business News.
A Kenyan court has granted bail to the Nairobi County Governor charged with multi-million-dollar corruption in one of the most high-profile cases in the government's anti-graft push. The move was opposed by the prosecution, who argued that Governor Mike Sonko was likely to interfere with witnesses to obstruct the investigation. Sonko, an elected official from President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party, was arrested on Friday. He has denied charges of corruption against him. From Zambia comes a report that President Edgar Lungu has taken to Facebook to express concern over what he called fake news, which he says has the potential to endanger national peace, stability and unity. His comments came amid allegations linking him and his daughter to the illegal sale of the highly sought-after rosewood tree logs, locally known as mukula. And on the Asian migrant crisis, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate Aung San Suu Kyi has defended Myanmar's government against accusations of genocide at the International Court of Justice, calling the allegation an incomplete and misleading factual picture of the situation in Rakhine State. Her speech to the United Nations highest tribunal came on the second day of an emergency legal hearing convened to consider whether protective provisional measures should be imposed to prevent further killings and destructions in Myanmar. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
And that concludes the news on NTA International at this time. We thank you for watching. Bye for now.